I just realized I don't really know much of Jalal's personality because he doesn't have much of a personality. He was crazy for a little bit and then he just kind of went neutral. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My thoughts will probably offend you. My name is Michelle McDaniel. I am a personal trainer, extremely proud mommy of a pug, and a cosplayer, cosplaying as Jalal from one of my favorite animes, Fairy Tail. Anyway, it's a brand new day, which means there's a new topic for us to talk about together. So, let's get it.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
So in today's news on this cosplay, very weird, highly cartoonish channel, in France, models are getting banned because they're too thin, but then Tess Holliday is being praised on the runway, but she is too fat. So I'm kind of trying to understand all of this, but let's read an article together like we like to do. France bans extremely thin models. The modeling industry has long been under pressure for unrealistic images. A law in France banning the use of unhealthily thin fashion models has come into effect. And let me just interrupt for a second. Let me just say that I agree with some parts of body positivity. The whole unrealistic body standards, the whole have one type of beauty in the media to make everybody else feel ugly. I know that puts a lot of pressure on girls, makes girls feel a certain type of way. I was one until I said, you know what, this, and started doing things my way, got some muscle, got strong as freak, and said, you know what, if you guys think I look like a man, that's okay with me because I love my body. And to me, that's what body positivity is for me. It's getting healthy, feeling strong, feeling confident, and just doing your thing. Accepting my body even if other people don't, because I love it. But as for very thin models, I think that is great that they are trying to crack down on women being too thin, because as we know, there's a lot of body pressure and just the need to be very thin, and it creates a lot of eating disorders in the modeling industry. Models will need to provide a doctor's certificate attesting to their overall physical health, with special regards to their body mass index, BMI, a measure of weight in relation to height. The health ministry says the aim is to fight eating disorders and inaccessible ideals of beauty. Digitally altered photos will also have to be labeled from the 1st of October. Images where a model's appearance has been manipulated will need to be marked photographie rotée. Yeah, I don't speak French, but they have the English here for us non-cultured people. Retouched photograph. Yeah, I stay in the United States. I don't have the money to go to different places, but if anybody wants to make fun of the way that I can't pronounce certain languages, you are very much more than welcome to fund my trip to a beautiful France. I would love that if you're that passionate with my non-culturedness. A previous version of the bill had suggested a minimum BMI for models, prompting protests from modeling agencies in France. Models must provide a doctor's note when applying for jobs. But the final version, backed by MPs 2015, allows doctors to decide whether a model is too thin by taking into account their weight, age, and body and shape. Now see, this is what I find very funny about this, because a lot of the body positive women are like rooting about this part, but then they say there's no connection between obesity and all these health issues that doctors are saying that you can have if you're obese. But then here they are like praising this stuff. And you know, like if you don't know someone's look or someone's health by just looking at them, then why is this okay to the body positive people, but not okay when a doctor looks at an obese person who's severely obese and says, you're not healthy, you need to lose weight? How is that wrong? And then telling a thin model you're not healthy, you can't model is right. I personally think you can tell someone's health if they're obese, that's not healthy. We all know that having too much body fat is unhealthy. Like we said, the visceral fat getting to a certain extent when it's around the stomach, that internal fat that suffocates your internal organs, which is not good. When you're obese, and definitely morbidly obese, that is not good. Just like being too thin is not good, but it's kind of harder to tell someone who's just naturally thin. Like my mom is very thin. She's like the only person that is like straight up and down in my family. And people all the time tell her that she's anorexic and she needs to gain weight and this and that. But she just eats very healthy. She doesn't like to overeat and she doesn't like to go out very much. And that's just how her body is. So I'm curious to know like what they are going to declare is unhealthy for a thin woman. Especially because these women are very tall, so they're gonna just be very like long and lanky, you know, like that's what they like on the runway. That's what they want to hire. So I'm just very interested to see what exactly is like, no, you're too thin. Because in this article that I found, they didn't have any pictures. Employers breaking the law could face fines up to 75,000 euros. That's 82,000 US dollars and up to 6 months in jail. Exposing young people to normative and unrealistic images of bodies leads to a sense of self-deprecation and poor self-esteem that can impact health-related behavior, said France's Minister of Social Affairs and Health. France is not the first country to legislate on underweight models. Italy, Spain, and Israel have all done so. Anorexia affects between 30,000 to 40,000 people in France, 90% of whom are women. So I don't know how you guys are feeling. I'm personally feeling mixed feelings on this. I think the modeling industry, whether you're skinny, thicker, this or that, gives people unrealistic body and just looks-wise expectations as it is. I don't think there's any secret there. There's so many of those things. That's why they're trying to take away the likes on Instagram, that you can't see the likes anymore because Instagram makes girls feel a certain way about their look. So now they're going to take away the likes. With some of my friends that moved to LA because of just the environment, they just get very much into their looks and just insecure, super gorgeous girls, super insecure girls. And I just think that industry, when it's all focused on pretty much your looks and being pretty, it's going to fuck you up no matter what. And that's why I got the freak out of bikini and figure competition, because that shit will freak you up too mentally. So like I said, I'm not sure how I feel about this because yeah, there's some really bad health issues that go on in the modeling industry for being too thin. There's a high percentage of women that have eating disorders that are in that line of work. As with anything that is focused completely on your body. So I agree with them there, but at the same time, how are you really going to fix it when it's all focused on your body? There's going to be a lot of issues like that, as there is in bodybuilding, where people think is super healthy. People have muscle, right? It's one of the unhealthiest things that you can do for your body. If you are thinking about getting into bodybuilding or fitness competitions or figure competitions, bikini competitions, anything like that, getting on stage with muscle, and you think you're gonna get healthy, I really recommend not doing it. Especially if you had a past eating disorder, I do not recommend it. Mine went just soaring through the sky when I competed. So be careful if that's what you want to do. So I just want to talk about this because I just thought it was interesting that now that thin girls are getting doxxed for being unhealthy looking, but at the same time, they have Tess Holliday, a morbidly obese woman who advocates for health at every size. Ironic, because they said a certain weight is not healthy. Funny how that worked out, but health at every size, she advocates for health at every size. There's tons of studies showing that her size is not healthy, and she just walked the runway. What can I say? I'm finally part of the @Chromat family. Last night was the first time walking for a major designer in NYFW, and I can't think of anyone better to experience this with than Chromat. Thank you. You're changing the industry one runway at a time. Hashtag F your beauty standards. And then she wears this thing just draped over her. I don't feel like this is flattering. And I've seen her wear some pretty flattering things. She's not an ugly girl. She has a really pretty face. She's a morbidly obese person and a not healthy person. And I've heard she's not very kind either. But this dress does not look good. It looks like a sheet just draped over her. It's just the thing that they found that could fit her body. And they threw it on her and said, well, there you go. Go girl, get on stage. And besides the look, her walk, we've talked about this before when that plus size model that said Tess Holliday is not a good model, she doesn't know how to walk, she's just not a trained good model. They put her on stage, in my opinion, because she's gonna bring the views. She's going to get talked about, and thus their show will get talked about, and their show will look like it's a good show because they are all inclusive. They never put Tess Holliday in this show because she's a good model. They put Tess Holliday in this show because they like money. They are not body positive, they are money positive. So let's look at the way that she walks. And you can see everybody then pull out their phones because this is not normal on the runway. Normal body type in everyday life, yes, because everyone is, you know, obesity is now a thing. It's the percentages are very, very high, but definitely not normal on a runway. I personally would not call that a strut. I call it a clunk, because when we would have models come in when I was in fashion school and we would, you know, have them walk to see which ones that we would like in our show, and we saw someone walking like her, we would say, you're clunking. It just looks like you're just clunking down the runway. And she's walking like that because of her weight. And so besides all the clunking, the horrible walk, the slight shoulders rolled forward, the not being straight up and confident walk that you want on the runway to be able to show the clothes, which I really understand why they picked that dress, because the dress is not good. But besides all of that she did, she then ends her clunk walk with a nice big old boob shimmy at the end. As if to say, I've got a lot more boobs than these skinny girls do, because boobs are fat and I'm fat and proud. And then after that very long, awkward clunk back to the back area of the runway, a actual model comes out, and you can't even see the model very well, but the confidence and the preparedness just outpours through the phone to the end of the runway where this person is holding this phone recording Tess Holliday's clunk. And you can see that her chest is up, her chin is level, she is walking with confidence with a nice little stride. She looks like a model, and Tess Holliday does not look like a model, not only because of her weight, but because the way that her weight affects the way that she walks and presents herself on stage. If she walks the exact same as the model that came out second, that I barely could see but could tell that model had her shit together, I would have absolutely nothing to say. Well, besides the fact that her weight does take away from the clothing, and I would still be very distracted. But she could make it up with her walk, but she didn't. She just looked how obese and morbidly obese people walk. It just looks more like a clunk and a side to side movement that I see in a lot of obese and morbidly obese people when they walk around. So I guess my question is to you, would you like for the modeling industry to crack down more on unrealistic body expectations and cracking down to make sure the models are healthy, and if they are not allowed to walk? That being said, I personally would love that if it went both ways. The model is too thin and she's showing that she is not eating enough. There are things that happen when you are too thin for long enough time that there's, you know, things start shutting down in your body because you are malnourished. But I would also like that type of energy going towards models, because Tess Holliday is a model now, toward Tess Holliday, and them saying, sorry Tess, you are not allowed to be part of this because you are not healthy, and you are spreading unhealthy images to our younger generation and women that watch the show. I would be all in it if that was the case, but I feel like they are only going to crack down on the thin people, especially if that happens, whatever happened in France comes over here and they start cracking down on the modeling agencies. I don't think they would ever go after Tess, unless we make a big deal out of it and keep talking about it and causing a ruckus through the internet, because that's really all we can do. But the fat acceptance movement did it, and they seem like they're doing pretty good. So that's why we're gonna keep talking about it. So let me know your opinions on this. Would you like them to crack down on models who are too thin? And if so, then wouldn't you want them to crack down on models who are obese, like Tess Holliday? If you are someone from the fat acceptance community who is very happy about them cracking down on thin models for being unhealthy, then I would very much think that you would want the same for the opposite spectrum, because both extremes are very unhealthy. I am looking forward to everyone's comment. Remember, I read most of the comments when the video is new. I hope you enjoyed my blue hair and my eye symbol here. I'm sure some of you who are not part of the anime community probably think I'm some kind of sorcerer, devil worshiper, weird person. That one's correct. So thanks you guys for watching. I will see you guys next video. Remember, you don't have to be a size 2. Biceps, dang it, I'm not wearing a freaking tank top today, but big biceps are great to have, but not needed to be healthy. But health is very important, and I want all of you guys to be as healthy as you possibly can. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram for more cosplays, and I will see you guys next time. This week's subscriber spotlight is Live, Laugh, Love from Instagram. 2013, decided to get my life together. I weighed 285. 2014, lost 81 pounds in about a year. Ruptured my Achilles tendon and needed surgery, went into bad depression, gained weight back. 2018, experienced lots of health issues, but I got my life back together. 2019, currently have lost 95 pounds over the last year and still have about 45 more to go, but going strong. Congrats, girl. We and all my subscribers are very, very proud of you. Good job and keep on going.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. I've been on the flex since flex on. Neighborhood